What happens when the magic fades from the city built on illusion? For decades, Las Vegas sold a dream, the promise that for one weekend, you could feel rich, free, and untouchable. But in 2025, that promise is cracking. On social media, the words keep repeating, "Enough is enough." It started small, a Reddit thread titled, "Vegas isn't what it used to be." Within days, it exploded. Thousands of travelers shared the same frustration: overpriced rooms, hidden resort fees, watered-down drinks, long lines, and cold service. What was once a city of excitement now feels like a city of exhaustion. One tourist described paying $48 for a burger, $25 to park, and waiting an hour and a half for a show that was once free. He wrote, "It's like they forgot why people came here. Vegas used to make you feel special. Now it just makes you feel used." Behind the neon lights, something deeper is happening. The Strip is running on autopilot, chasing higher profit margins while ignoring the very people who made it rich. The casinos call it dynamic pricing. Guests call it greed. And here's the twist. Even loyal high rollers are starting to walk away. The pandemic taught people to value experience over spectacle, authenticity over excess. And now, when visitors look at their Vegas bills, they're asking a simple question: why are we paying luxury prices for a budget experience? This episode dives into that moment, the breaking point when the world's most famous entertainment city faces an uncomfortable truth. The show can't go on forever if the audience stops clapping. So, the real question is, has Las Vegas finally gone too far? Las Vegas used to be the escape hatch of America, the place where stress went to die, where the weekend began on a Thursday and ended with a hangover and a smile. But the version of Vegas that millions remember is quietly disappearing. The shift began after the pandemic. When hotels reopened in 2021, pent-up demand created a record boom. Rooms were full, tables packed, and casinos overflowing with optimism. It felt like the golden age had returned. But by 2023, cracks appeared in the glitter. Corporate giants like MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment, and Wynn doubled down on maximizing every cent of revenue. The old Vegas used to say, "Come in cheap, leave happy." The new Vegas says, "Pay first, smile later." Fees started creeping in everywhere. $45 resort fees, $25 parking, $18 cocktails, even $10 for bottled water in rooms. It wasn't about hospitality anymore. It was about yield. Executives called it value capture. Guests called it nickel and diming. At the same time, automation replaced warmth. Check-ins moved to kiosks, buffets vanished, and longtime employees who once remembered guests by name were replaced by rotating contractors. The human touch that once defined Vegas faded under fluorescent light. Tourism data tells the story. According to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, visitor satisfaction dropped from 91% in 2018 to just 73% in 2025. Spending rose, but smiles disappeared. Meanwhile, global competition exploded. Dubai built luxury hotels in the desert with better service and no resort fees. Singapore turned its casino into a cultural landmark. Even small American cities like Nashville and Austin started offering weekend experiences that felt fresher, friendlier, and more authentic without the extra charges. Yet Vegas executives kept saying the same thing: people will always come back. For decades, they were right. But now, a new generation of travelers has changed the rules. They compare prices instantly. They care about value, ethics, and transparency. And they're not afraid to call out bad business online. So when the hashtags Vegas scam, not worth it, and enough is enough began trending, it wasn't random noise. It was the sound of frustration reaching a boiling point. Las Vegas didn't lose its shine overnight. It eroded slowly, buried under hidden fees, overpricing, and corporate arrogance. And while the lights on the Strip still burn bright, for many visitors, the city's soul has gone dim.
It began quietly.
A few frustrated reviews on TripAdvisor, a handful of TikTok clips showing hidden charges and bad service. But within months, the discontent became impossible to ignore. Across Reddit threads, Facebook groups, and YouTube vlogs, a new movement was forming, one that Vegas had never faced before, a consumer rebellion. They called themselves the Burned Travelers. People who once adored Vegas now warned others not to go. Their message was simple: they've taken the fun out of it. A viral TikTok by a couple from Texas summed it up. We used to come here every summer, but now it's a ripoff. $400 a night for a luxury room that doesn't include housekeeping, $25 to park, $22 for a drink. Enough is enough. Within days, their clip hit 5 million views, sparking a flood of similar posts. Instagram Reels showed receipts of overpriced meals, screenshots of resort fees, and comparisons with cheaper alternatives like Laughlin, Reno, or even Cancun. But the anger wasn't just about money, it was about betrayal. For years, Vegas sold itself as a partner in pleasure. We'll take your money, but we'll make sure you have the time of your life. Now, guests felt like the city had broken that unspoken contract. Surveys by Travel Pulse and Hotel Business showed a steep decline in repeat visitors. In 2018, over 65% of tourists said they planned to return to Vegas within 2 years. By mid-2025, that number had fallen below 40%, the lowest in 3 decades. And the backlash hit more than online reviews. Some conventions, once the city's lifeblood, began to relocate. In early 2025, one major trade group publicly cited, quote, unpredictable fees and poor guest experience as the reason for moving its annual expo to Phoenix. Even airlines felt the shift. Southwest and Delta quietly reduced flight frequency into McCarran Airport, citing, quote, softened demand. Meanwhile, Vegas influencers and content creators who used to glorify the nightlife began to tell a different story: burnout, bad value, and bland experiences. YouTube channels that once posted Vegas hauls were now uploading videos titled Never Again. In a place that thrives on perception, the optics were devastating. The Strip wasn't empty, it was indifferent. Guests came but didn't smile. They paid but didn't stay. And worst of all, they told the world about it. For the first time in modern history, Las Vegas wasn't just losing customers, it was losing loyalty. The empire of neon wasn't collapsing in silence. It was collapsing in full view, one-star review at a time.
When visitors say enough is enough, it isn't just about paying too much for a drink. It's about a deeper shift, one that cuts to the core of what Las Vegas once represented. For decades, Vegas operated on a psychological contract. You might lose money, but you'll gain memories. The gamble was part of the thrill. But as that thrill turned into frustration, it became clear that the city's business model had changed from entertainment-driven to extraction-driven. The anger at its heart comes from feeling disrespected. Guests no longer feel like partners in fun, they feel like data points in a spreadsheet. Let's break it down. 1. The price experience gap. In 2025, the average nightly room rate on the Strip hit $204, the highest in history, yet satisfaction scores hit the lowest. At the same time, staffing levels remained 22% below pre-pandemic norms, meaning guests paid more but received less. Lines grew longer, amenities shrank, and the famous Vegas service smile became rare. 2. Hidden fees in the psychology of deception. Nothing enrages customers like dishonesty. Resort fees, parking fees, energy surcharges, even wellness fees for spa access, all added after booking. Travelers feel tricked, not treated. One viral review put it bluntly: Vegas is the only place where you lose money before you even gamble. 3. The decline of value and authenticity. In an era when travel influencers show global alternatives, the illusion of Vegas luxury looks outdated. People can experience 5-star resorts in Bali, Dubai, or Phuket for half the price. Vegas's edge, the idea of affordable glamour, is gone. 4. Over-automation and the loss of human touch. Casinos once had bartenders who remembered your drink, dealers who joked with you, concierge who made you feel like royalty. Today, self-check-in kiosks and digital tipping screens have replaced warmth with convenience. As one longtime visitor said, Vegas feels like an app, not an experience. 5. Corporate greed and the death of the comp. The free perks, which once the lifeblood of Vegas' charm, have disappeared. Free parking? Gone. Free drinks? Watered down. Buffets? Downsized or closed. Even the iconic $1 shrimp cocktail is history. The comp system that made guests feel rewarded now feels rigged. The irony is casinos are reporting record profits. In 2024, MGM Resorts posted over $14 billion in revenue, while Caesars' annual reports boasted robust growth despite softened demand. But those numbers hide the truth: short-term profit, long-term erosion. The soul of Vegas was built on emotion, on making people feel lucky, even when they weren't. But once people stop feeling that magic, the numbers don't matter. Because in the end, visitors don't remember the slot machines or the shows. They remember how the city made them feel. And lately, Vegas has made them feel exploited.
In the old Vegas, luxury had a heartbeat. You didn't just see it, you felt it. The moment you stepped into a marble-floored lobby, a smiling concierge called you by name, and a waiter handed you a glass of champagne on the house. The casinos knew one thing: if you made guests feel rich, they'd spend like millionaires. But in 2025, that philosophy has been replaced by something colder: a calculated efficiency that has drained the soul from the experience. A visitor from Chicago described it best: "It's all surface now. Nice lights, expensive rooms, but zero vibe. It's like they built a luxury hotel for robots." That sense of hollow glamour runs deep. Rooms look high-end on Instagram, but feel mass-produced in person. Restaurants advertise Michelin-starred chefs, but rely on overworked staff. Even entertainment, once the crown jewel of Vegas, has become formulaic. Where there was once mystery, now there's marketing. The illusion of luxury. The paradox is painful. Vegas keeps upgrading, but somehow everything feels cheaper. Casinos install high-tech slot machines, LED walls, and digital art, yet the emotional return keeps shrinking. Guests don't come to admire 8K screens, they come to feel alive. But when every touchpoint feels optimized for revenue, luxury turns into pressure. From upsell pop-ups on booking apps to VIP upgrades that cost $150 for a slightly faster check-in, the experience feels less like hospitality and more like a hustle. Even the shows, once legendary spectacles like Cirque du Soleil, are now squeezed by budget cuts. One insider from a major theater production admitted, "We've reduced performers and live musicians to save costs. Guests don't notice right away, but they feel it." When service loses its soul. Vegas used to train staff to create moments of magic, remembering birthdays, sending surprise desserts, offering a free spin at the tables. Now, service scripts are algorithm-driven. Chatbots replace concierge, and call centers outsource empathy. A former Bellagio employee put it bluntly: "We used to make people feel like celebrities. Now we just manage complaints." That erosion of connection is what modern travelers can't forgive. In a world flooded with choice, experience is the only currency that matters. And when Vegas fails to deliver it, even the most loyal gamblers find new playgrounds. The end of the Vegas feeling. It's not just about money, it's about emotion. Vegas was once the world stage for dreams. Bachelor parties, honeymoons, second chances. People came to rewrite their stories. But now that magic, that feeling of being part of something bigger, is fading under LED glare and automated smiles. Luxury without emotion is just expensive emptiness. And that's what many visitors are sensing now. The lights still sparkle, but the warmth is gone. Vegas may still look alive, but behind the shimmering facade, something has quietly died: the art of making people feel special.
Behind every angry customer post lies a boardroom PowerPoint. Vegas executives aren't blind to the backlash, they're trapped in a paradox. On one hand, costs are rising faster than ever. On the other, guests are less willing to pay. The result? A desperate balancing act where every innovation is really a survival tactic. After the pandemic, casino operators faced a brutal reality. Inflation soared, labor shortages persisted, and investors demanded growth at all costs. Electricity, security, cleaning, everything became more expensive. Yet corporate margins had to stay shiny for Wall Street. So what do? They squeezed the guests. The economics of extraction. Resort fees began as a small maintenance charge in the 2000s. By 2025, they're an empire of their own, generating nearly $400 million annually across the Strip. Parking, once free to lure gamblers in, now adds another $200 million in annual revenue. Executives justify it with charts showing price optimization and revenue per available room. But here's the irony. While hotels boast record-breaking quarterly profits, occupancy rates have quietly slipped. The city's average hotel occupancy fell from 88% in 2019 to 76% in 2025, the lowest Labor Day level in decades. Corporate Vegas is winning on paper, but losing in spirit. The PR spin. When headlines began to question the death of fun, the Strip's marketing machines shifted gears. Suddenly, slogans like "More Value, More Vegas" appeared everywhere. Caesars offered veteran discounts. MGM introduced 2-for-1 deals on attractions. The Luxor launched family value nights. But underneath the glitter, the math remained the same. A free buffet came with hidden drink charges. A discount show ticket required you to sign up for a loyalty program. The house still won, just quietly. And while these tactics may slow the bleeding, they don't heal the wound, because no amount of clever marketing can hide what guests feel in their wallets. The worker's perspective. Even employees are caught in the middle. Many casino workers say they're working longer hours for the same pay. In 2024, the Culinary Union, representing 60,000 workers across major resorts, threatened a citywide strike over stagnant wages and unsafe workloads. "We're the face of Vegas," one housekeeper said, "but we're treated like we don't matter." Ironically, it's the very people who keep Vegas alive, the dealers, cleaners, cooks, valets, who are now part of its crisis. As corporate profits rise, their morale falls. And guests can feel that energy. You can't fake warmth in a cold system. The defensive play. Executives call their approach rationalization, but to outsiders, it looks like desperation. They're tightening costs while pretending to enhance experiences. Yet the numbers tell another story. Record profits, shrinking loyalty, growing resentment. Vegas once gambled with luck. Now it's gambling with trust. And if there's one thing more dangerous than losing a bet, it's losing belief.
Every city has a breaking point. For Las Vegas, it arrived not with an explosion, but with a quiet, collective decision. Millions of travelers simply choosing not to come back. The first warning came from the data. In early 2025, for the first time in over 2 decades, visitor volume declined 3 consecutive quarters. Hotel occupancy slipped below 80%. And while weekend traffic stayed steady, midweek bookings, the bread and butter for conventions and casual tourists, plummeted. But what shocked executives wasn't the numbers, it was the tone of the conversation. The internet wasn't mocking Vegas, it was mourning it. People weren't just angry, they were sad. Reddit threads read like obituaries. "I loved Vegas, but it doesn't love us anymore." It's not the money, it's the disrespect. They took the magic and replaced it with math. When the emotion behind frustration turns from outrage to heartbreak, the brand is in real danger. The tipping point. The hashtag #EnoughIsEnough trended globally in mid-2025 after a viral YouTube video titled "Vegas Scammed Us, Never Again" hit 12 million views. The creators didn't scream or rant. They calmly showed receipts, price comparisons, and real footage of long check-in lines and hidden fees. It was devastating in its simplicity. Soon, journalists picked it up. Major outlets like The Washington Post and Bloomberg ran features titled "The Strip's Great Disconnect" and "How Vegas Broke Its Own Promise." The story reached CNN, and within weeks, Vegas was being discussed not as the entertainment capital of the world, but as a case study in overreach. Tourists, once willing to forgive anything for a little fun, were now making different choices. Couples chose Napa, gamblers flew to Macau, young travelers picked Austin, Miami, or even Tulum, places that offered real connection without pretense. The emotional rebellion. What's striking is that no boycott was organized, no protests filled the streets. Instead, millions simply opted out. When guests stopped believing they're special, they stopped playing along. And in Vegas, that belief was the whole game. Even the casinos started noticing strange patterns: higher short-stay cancellations, shorter gambling sessions, smaller tips. One Wynn executive admitted anonymously, "The numbers look fine, but the vibe is gone. You can feel it in the air. People aren't smiling anymore." The Vegas high, that dopamine rush of excitement and indulgence, had been replaced by something unfamiliar: fatigue. The end of the illusion. Enough is enough isn't just a complaint. It's a declaration of independence. Tourists are no longer the easy marks they once were. They're educated, vocal, and empowered. And when they walk away, they take the city's lifeblood with them: word-of-mouth trust. Las Vegas has faced recessions, pandemics, and scandals, but this is different. This isn't about luck. This is about love and the loss of it. When the people who once adored you stop believing, it's not just a market correction. It's a reckoning.
Las Vegas was never just a city. It was a feeling. A glittering escape from gravity, where time, money, and reason bent to the promise of possibility. For generations, it mastered one thing better than any place on earth: the illusion of care. Even when you were losing, Vegas made you feel like you were winning. But somewhere between the spreadsheets and the shareholder reports, that feeling got lost. In chasing higher margins, the city forgot its greatest currency: emotion. You can raise prices, but you can't raise loyalty. You can automate service, but you can't automate magic. And the magic of Las Vegas was never built by algorithms. It was built by people, by moments, by stories whispered under neon light. Now, the Strip faces a simple but brutal truth. You can't charge luxury prices for a hollow experience. The road back. The good news? Vegas has reinvented itself before, and it can do it again. The city has survived mob wars, recessions, and the pandemic. It knows how to adapt when the stakes are high. But this time, survival won't come from another casino opening or a flashy marketing campaign. It will come from rebuilding trust, guest by guest, moment by moment. That means transparency instead of tricks, human warmth instead of automation, and most importantly, remembering that this city's power doesn't come from slot machines or skyscrapers. It comes from how it makes people feel. The next era of Vegas can't just be louder or brighter. It has to be realer. Because the illusion worked when people believed it, and belief can't be bought. It must be earned again. Final reflection. As the sun sets behind the desert skyline, the neon still hums, stubborn, defiant, beautiful. But beneath that glow lies a question that echoes across the Strip. When the dream feels broken, can the city of dreams find its heart again? Maybe the next jackpot Vegas needs to chase isn't money, but meaning.